I've got another assignment for you, young hero.
Oh boy, who is it this time? Is it Butch Hartman? Is it the Mr. Enter Indiegogo growing around disaster? Is it Tanacon? Whatever it is, I'm ready. Let's go.
I'm glad you're excited. I think you'll be very, very pleased about this next assignment. It's a very, very special person that I think you're very familiar with.
If you're a child watching this right now and you're being bullied in school, here's what you do. You demand that your bully cease their behavior, and if they refuse, grab the heaviest object you can reliably swing and beat their fucking teeth in. Yeah, you'll get suspended, but that suspension will end and that bully will never bother you again because of how much that beating actually hurt.
No! No, please, God, no! 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 Hello everybody, it's your friendly neighborhood alcoholic here, back with another episode of the Young Hero Rants, and today we're going to be examining Lily Peet. Again. Now, you and I both know that Lily Peet is a shitty person, so let's skip all the formalities and let's get straight into it, shall we? I've already beaten the crap out of my sister multiple times growing up. You owe me $64 million, Goofy. She ran away when I was 19 and I haven't spoken to her since. She's halfway across the country and likely doesn't give a shit, but based on past experience she'd probably argue, "You're not really," and I'd have to sock her in the jaw. Your ears have not deceived you. Lily beat the shit out of her sister so badly that she had to run away because she didn't want to deal with her abusive ass anymore. Who the hell does this? Is violence the first thing that comes to your mind when somebody does something that annoys you? What the hell is wrong with you? Look, I get it, siblings can be annoying sometimes. They can try your patience and they can get on your nerves. But most sane and rational people would never even fathom putting their hands on their siblings. Now look, I'm an only child, but I had many cousins that are siblings, and two of them in particular that I grew up with when I was a child were at each other's throats. They would fight literally every single day, but it never got to the point where they decided, we're gonna beat the shit out of each other. I could never even fathom putting my hands on my siblings, if I had one, let alone any member of my family. But to Lily, this is acceptable behavior because violence is the best way to solve her problems. That's really the only way she knows how to solve her problems. It's just ridiculous and downright despicable. And if you think that's bad, just look at what she did to Quillstroke. Victim of pedophilia being punished for speaking up? Fuck you, Quillstroke. Also, there's no leaking in this room translates to, we have something to hide. You see, this is the kind of stuff that I'm talking about. This is the kind of emotional trauma Lily will put certain people through. Now, to give you context behind this whole thing, Jasmine was the woman that claimed that Bombastic Blake was a pedophile. She wanted to get into an erotic roleplay with him and claimed that she was 25, but in actuality she was 15. Now, of course, since Lily doesn't bother to do any sort of proper fact-checking, she automatically believed that Jasmine was victimized by Blake because her and Blake had a falling out. Now, the reason why Jasmine was kicked out of the chat room Quill was in was because that chat room had a very strict no-leaking policy, which is not entirely unheard of considering a lot of chat rooms have a very strict no-leaking policy. Just because Jasmine was kicked out for leaking things does not mean that Quill and the others were trying to hide pedophilia. I strongly believe that they weren't. Of course, Lily wouldn't know this because she barely bothers to do any sort of research or fact-checking at all. I don't understand how Lily can get on her high horse and claim that people are attacking her when she attacks people all the fucking time. I talked to Quill about this, and she was so freaked out that Lily would go public with all of this, that her reputation in the Brony analysis community would be destroyed. And she also feared that her ability to adopt children would be completely destroyed because adoption agencies highly frown upon pedophiles. It doesn't matter if you are a pedophile, it doesn't matter if you're enabling a pedophile or you're suspected of being a pedophile, they just don't like pedophiles in general. She literally broke down crying because of the stress of that whole thing. I wish I were kidding about that, but I'm not. At the time, Jasmine wasn't proving to be a liar yet. That was before all of that went down. So, it's understandable why Quill was fearful that Lily was going to go public, because she has a certain amount of power in this community, unfortunately. If you want even further evidence how far Lily is willing to go to attack people, she went after Sky Pegasus reading and Moanaverse for reading Clopfix. No, I'm not kidding. She actually did this.
Sky Pegasus Readings and Moanaverse have been doing readings of pornographic fanfics featuring children for about 2 to 3 years now, going largely unnoticed because their viewer base isn't all that large, and it was only recently that people started giving enough of a shit to flush them out. Now, pornographic readings of fanfics are already against YouTube's own terms of service, but their behavior crossed the boundary into being highly illegal the moment they started reading out child pornography. Both seem to be in full awareness of the illegality of their actions, to the point that they started actively lampshading it in the titles and descriptions of their readings.
This is Lily, sending her fans to attack Sky Pegasus Readings and Moanaverse. Yet this is the person that cries whenever people attack her, and I use that term very loosely. She went after Sky Pegasus Readings and Moanaverse for simply reading Clopfix. If they were writing them, that might be one thing, but they just took Clopfix that other people wrote and read them, and that's it. That's all that they do. Seriously, if you go on YouTube right now and type in Clopfix, you will find dozens of these. If we're going by this logic, then everybody that reads a Clopfic is a pedophile. It's almost as if Lily is channeling her inner Oprah Winfrey. You're a pedophile, and you're a pedophile, and you're a pedophile, and you're a pedophile. It's just fucking ridiculous. It really is. And yet she will whine anytime anybody attacks her, which is code for anyone that criticizes her, but she's completely fine with doing it to other people. I mean, that's fantastic. It really just goes to show you the type of person Lily is. But hey, it's not as if she has an entire collection of Cloppics, right? She totally doesn't have that, because she totally does not engage in child pornography. No, siree, she totally doesn't do that. It's not like I could just dig up an entire collection of Cloppics that she collected. I totally can't do that. I'm not some kind of internet magician. If you're so against people that write Clopfics and draw Clop pictures and read Clopfics, why the fuck do you have this then? Now, for those of you who don't know, there was an entire folder on Google Drive called Lily Orchard's Fan Pack. And if you want to go and check it out and download it for yourself, I'll leave a link in the description down below. But it contains a whole treasure trove of juicy information, and one of them is a collection of NSFW pictures, or in this case, Clop pictures. I don't understand how you can have the gall to send your fans to attack Sky Pegasus Readings and Moanaverse for simply reading Clopfics when you actually have pictures of clopping. I don't get that. I just don't understand that. Did you not think that people wouldn't find this out? Now, to be clear, I don't believe that she drew them herself. I believe that these were other artists that drew them, and she just collected them and put them all in a folder. And I also don't know if she still has possession of this, or she deleted it and someone was able to get a hold of it before it was deleted. But either way, this is very suspicious and very suspect. Now, I don't believe she's a pedophile. I don't think she is. I just want to make that clear. But still, you're under the cloud of suspicion of potentially being a pedophile, and shit like this really doesn't help your case. Then again, you being a hypocrite isn't really being that much of a surprise considering you're Lily Peet. Just so you guys are clear that I'm not bullshitting, this is the actual folder all of those pictures came in. So if you have the heart to actually download them, this is the NSFW file. Here is where all of the photos are held. So again, if you download the fan pack, you can easily find this. Just wanted to make that clear so you guys didn't think I was lying or making things up. Did you guys know that Lily recently handed over control of her social media pages, more specifically her Tumblr page, to one of her mods, Ibarra? Well, she did, and the reason she did that was because she was being attacked. This is the last post I will be making from this Tumblr. From that point on, it will be controlled by new management. The prying into my personal life and the incessant harassment has gone in so aggressive that there is no other choice but for me to put it through a direct filter with human oversight. This change has already been implemented on my Discord server with the new administrator who has graciously agreed to take up the responsibility of handling my social media as well. My Tumblr, work email, Twitter, and YouTube comments, interaction, and Patreon management is now being handled by a new person whose job is to filter the harassment, abuse, stupidity, and general cluelessness out so that I am no longer burdened by it. My interaction on Discord will be for weekly Patreon calls only, and at all other times I will not be in the server. There will no longer be any channels to communicate directly with me unless you are one of the 6 people whom I've accepted into my personal life. All of this coming from the person who sent their fans to attack Dr. Wolf, Silverquill, Josh, Sky Pegasus Readings, and Moanaverse, the person who insinuated that Quillstroke was supporting pedophilia, and the person who tried to smear Anthony's name by believing that he was an abuser and pedophile of all things, even though Buttons just made the whole thing up purposely to spite him. You do all of that shit. Yet you want people to feel sorry for you? Is this a fucking joke? You see, seriously, you cannot be serious with this. Oh, boo-hoo! People are attacking me, and it's such a horrible thing. Oh my god, I'm being harassed. People are prying into my personal life. Oh my god, it's such a horrible thing. Oh, boo-hoo! Suck it up, Lily. Because here's the thing: if you constantly spend your time attacking people, they're going to clap back. That's how this works. You very much want a safe space. You want to be able to spout your incredibly dumb opinions, but you don't want people to criticize you for it. Well, newsflash, everybody on the internet gets criticized. Everybody on the internet gets shit on. That's the way that it is. It's the fucking internet. And if you can't handle that people are attacking you and harassing you, which is code for basically anyone that gives you legitimate criticism, then you shouldn't be on the internet. I'm sorry, I just find it really pathetic that a person that constantly attacks people she doesn't like is running away like a coward and tucking her tail behind her leg because she can't handle the fact that people are criticizing her. This is just ridiculous. And it just goes to show you the type of person Lily is and how cowardly she truly is. Now, is her mod Ibarra just another sock account? Because she's done it before with the infamous Tara Cowley, and that certainly could be possible. I'm not saying that it is, but if it ever came out that it really is just Lily in disguise and it is just another sock account, I'll be honest, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised one bit. But I know what you're really here for, and that is her love-hate affair, or really just hate affair, with the beloved Joshua Burner, aka Josh Scorcher. In her video against Josh, she says this.
Josh himself used to rant to my face about how college students need to have their opinions challenged. However, when his ignorant worldview was challenged, repeatedly, he decried it as emotional abuse.
Whenever Lily says something stupid, illogical, or flat out false, take a drink. If Josh actually fired you because he denounced your opinions as emotional abuse, then you would have a point there. But that's not what actually happened, and you very well know this. I mean, after all, it's not like I have evidence that you admitted that you emotionally abused Josh. No. I don't have evidence of that. It simply doesn't exist. It was me. I have been increasingly passive-aggressive towards Josh, dismissing his opinions and being increasingly short-tempered with him as time has gone on, treating discussions with him that have any degree of seriousness with the same disregard and callousness as I would a random YouTube comment, and Josh was far more patient with me than I had ever been with him. I have been a very poor friend to Josh over the past few years, and Josh deserved far better than this. I am truly sorry. Why has Lily gone around telling people that Josh dismissed her opinions as emotional abuse when she herself admitted that she emotionally abused Josh? Well, it's because she wants her followers to believe that Josh is this evil, horrible person that completely dismissed her opinions as emotional abuse, and that he didn't want his ignorant worldview to be challenged because he can't take any sort of criticism. He can't accept it because he has a fragile ego, even though she very well knows this is not the case. And she does not feel bad about lying to thousands of people because she knows she can get away with it. Because she knows that her followers aren't going to bother to do any sort of research or fact-checking. They're just going to agree with everything she says. They're going to suck on her non-existent dick because she has cultivated a safe space echo chamber where nobody can criticize her. And if you even dare to do so, you will be blocked, berated, or ignored. That's what it is. That is Lily Peet in a nutshell. I just find it to be very dishonest to say, Josh didn't want his ignorant worldview to be challenged because he thought it was emotional abuse, when you emotionally abused him and you admitted it. I want you to keep this in mind. Lily was not fired because Josh dismissed her opinions or because she said something he didn't like. She was fired because on multiple occasions she would refuse to edit an episode review because she didn't like the viewpoints Josh presented in them. And it slowed production down to a crawl, which is incredibly problematic when you're making YouTube videos for a living and you've got a staff that you have to pay and they can't get paid until the videos go up. She was becoming more of a liability than an asset. She was negatively affecting Josh's business, so Josh had no choice but to let her go. That's what actually happened. She wasn't let go. She didn't leave. She was fired. And she has not gotten over that. She has held a grudge against him ever since because of that. And she can't acknowledge that she fucked up, that she was in the wrong. It's all Josh's fault because he's the devil. He's the de facto Butch Hartman before Butch Hartman became Butch Hartman. If you're aware of what's been going on recently, you know what I'm talking about. And if that wasn't bad enough, she has gone to absolutely insane lengths to denounce Josh and decry him as a horrible person, and let me tell you, it is, quite frankly, despicable.
I know everyone was talking about what a great victory it was for Sony, but in all fairness, I think Microsoft did most of the work for them. It was like Microsoft walked out onto the stage of the International Don't Fuck Up Championship and proceeded to shiv itself in the stomach 30 times while screaming, "It's for your own good! It's for your own good!" Then Sony came out and said, "I don't want to stab myself in the stomach, that shit hurts." Whereupon fucking confetti exploded from the ceiling and they're handed the sickest burn in the history of the universe trophy.
The video in question was Lily depicting Josh's pony OC committing suicide. Again, I'm not kidding. She actually did this. This actually happened. And yet she wonders why people don't like her? She wonders why Josh filed that cease and desist order against her? Josh, from all indications, was nothing but a good friend to Lily and pretty much accommodated her every demand, even when they were unreasonable. And this is the thanks that he gets? It really just goes to show you the type of person Lily is, and why she has alienated so many people, and why she has pissed off so many of her former friends. I mean, who the hell does shit like this? This is just creepy, obsessive and just downright fucked up. It really is. Then again, if Josh actually pulled out a shiv and stabbed himself, I bet she would be really happy about that. She would be smiling because fuck him, right? She doesn't seem to realize that without Josh, she wouldn't be popular to begin with. Josh is really one of the only reasons why Lily has any sort of power or influence at all. Yet she doesn't realize this and has continuously railed against him and has tried to slander his name. I just don't get it. I really don't fucking get it. If she had just accepted the fact that she was fired and that her friendship with Josh was over, none of this would have happened. But she just had to keep pushing and poking and prodding, and look what happened because of it. For those of you who don't know, Patchwork Heart and Lily were buddy-buddy until Patch and Josh made up recently and worked out their differences. Josh and I have cleared the air. I sat down with him and Eloria and had a conversation about how we both have been feeling. He apologized for telling people things that weren't true and throwing me under the bus, and I apologized for all the stress my crusade for revenge caused him and his loved ones. I no longer have any issues with Josh. Do I disagree with his choices on how to handle the videos? Absolutely, but that was his choice to make. I just wanted to be heard and to get an apology. I also apologize to the members of the community that my feud with Josh affected. I have been trying to treat this like a war instead of like two hurt and wounded people scrambling for peace. To those who tried to ruin me, I forgive you. What you did was out of wrath and anger. I understand what it's like to lose yourself in that. I hope you'll come to forgive me for being so spiteful over a few misunderstandings. I hope we can get the focus back onto making this community safe for abuse survivors and children again. According to Anthony, aka For No Good Reason, Lily was so angered by this that she cut ties with Patch completely. Which isn't all that surprising considering the type of person Lily is and how petty she can be. The reason I'm not saying allegations behind any of this is because it's actually true. She actually did disown Patchwork for daring to settle her beef with Josh. Okay, so this is Patchwork Heart leaving Lily a message trying desperately to save their friendship. And when she doesn't respond, she moves ahead with her plans to end her beef with Josh. That's what she was planning to do, but Lily didn't like this, and she even says, for 2 weeks after I sent that message, I heard nothing from her. She ignored me. I went forward with plans I had set to end my personal feud with Josh so I could get some peace, and then she disappeared. Overnight, the night after I talked publicly about my truce with Josh, Lily ghosted me, blocked me everywhere without a word. Yes, this actually happened. She cut ties with Patch because she dared to end her feud with Josh. And if you know anything about Lily, if you dare to even be nice to Josh or have some sort of positive rapport with him, you are disowned. And if this isn't an indication of how poorly she treats her friends, then I don't know what is. You have to be the pettiest person in the world to do something like that. God forbid two adults have an adult conversation and work out their differences. No, we can't have that. If I hate Josh, you have to hate him too. Otherwise, I will disown you. Oh, see this middle finger? Oh, it's upside down. Here, let me turn this motherfucker up right now. Did I mention that supporters of Lily, that supported Patchwork, pulled their support on Patreon because of this whole debacle? Ever since people found out that Lily and I aren't friends anymore, patrons have started bailing and reducing their support. I suspected it would happen, but not this fast. What happened? Things were just kinda not good between us, and then it ended, and I told people a few days after it happened, and now that folks know I'm not friends with a big-name YouTuber anymore, they don't care anymore. They don't even fill out the exit surveys, lol. I want to give a huge shout out to Aaron Tempest for screen capping this. This is what Lily said about Josh, and of course, as you can see, this is the cease and desist order in all of its glory. This is what she said in response. Alt-right mouthpiece at Josh Scorcher wants to sue me for reporting on the fact that he's been enabling a pedophile pulling the same stunt that Digital Homicide pulled. This is a common thing with Lily. Whenever somebody has an opinion she doesn't agree with, she will label them as part of the alt-right because that's just the world we live in nowadays. If somebody doesn't like you for having a differing opinion, you're a Nazi, and if somebody doesn't like you for having a differing opinion, you're part of the alt-right. I feel like it's a really stupid mentality to have, but it is what it is. And the reason why Josh filed the cease and desist order in the first place is because Lily just kept harassing him, kept talking about him, kept just bringing him up in situations that didn't even involve him and made no sense whatsoever, and actively tried to ruin his reputation and slandered him. Like, for example, you're surprised that you got a cease and desist order, and you're saying that he's an alt-right mouthpiece, further justifying his reason to file the order and giving him more ammo to use against you if this thing ever went to court. I don't know why somebody would do something like this when they've been threatened with a lawsuit before a lawsuit. This is just so dumb. And really, how the fuck is he part of the alt-right? He's a video game countdown maker and a brony analyst. That is the furthest thing from the alt-right as someone can possibly be. And as for your claims that he enabled Toon Critic, that's bullshit, because as far as I can tell, he really wasn't aware of what Toon Critic was actually doing. And when he was aware that he was a pedophile, he cut ties with him immediately and contacted the authorities trying to get him locked up. If he was really trying to enable Zach, he would have kept it hidden under the rug and not said anything about it, right? He wouldn't have cut ties with him if he was really enabling a pedophile. And in terms of the Brony D&D, like I said before, those episodes with Toon in it were recorded well in advance, and that's not something they could just easily remove because it would have changed the entire campaign and they would have had to start all over. And they didn't want to do that because that would just be an inconvenience because it's done through audio and you can't exactly remove specific pieces of audio, so they just uploaded them as is. That's the way that it was. If that's enabling a pedophile, then clearly you really don't know what the definition of a pedophile is, and you clearly have a warped vision of what it actually is. Now, to be clear, I do not know if this cease and desist order will actually go to court. I haven't heard anything about it in months, and to be honest with you, it's very likely that Josh has quietly dropped the matter because he doesn't want to drag out an embarrassing court case for years to come. And as much as I want to see this go to court so Lily can finally get her comeuppance, I have to be realistic when I say it's probably not going to happen because internet lawsuits rarely ever go that far. Now, you don't have to agree with it. There's a lot of people that disagreed with it, and that's totally fine. I'm just simply providing an explanation as to why he filed it in the first place. And I really don't understand Lily's way of thinking. Who the hell wants to live their life like this? You know, instantly labeling anyone that has an opinion they disagree with as a horrible person, as essentially a racist. I don't really understand that, and to be quite honest, I wish this thing would go to court. I really do. I really, really do, but sadly, the real world isn't that kind. Thank God there isn't a cure for Stockholm Syndrome. In the previous video, I talked about Stockholm, and I honestly thought it was just a one-off. Unfortunately, while I was researching for this video, I discovered that there are 4 more installments in this goddamn series. It's a series. There are 5 installments in total, with dozens upon dozens upon dozens of chapters that are essentially borderline child pornography. I'm not even joking. I can't even believe that this is even a thing. And since I know that Lily is going to deny that she wrote Stockholm and that her detractors are just making this up to make her look bad, this is her admitting that she wrote Stockholm, even going as far as to label it a sex comedy. get a true sense about how disgusting this really is, I'm going to read a few paragraphs from chapter 27 of the Stockholm story, The Razzle Dazzle. Sonata pouted and laid back on Adagio's lap. Those two got me all worked up, Mommy. No fair. Oh boy, and we know what horny Sonata does, Arya giggled, joining them on the couch. Ari, that was one time and it didn't help, Sonata pouted. That's what the paramedics told you anyway, Adagio giggled as she reached down and gently rubbed between Sonata's legs. Ooh, yay, Sonata squirmed happily, giggling. Thanks, Mommy. Adagio kissed Sonata's cheek as she continued to rub Sonata's sex, giggling as she nibbled her ear. So, did you have fun with Sunny? Yeah, I sure would like to know the details, Arya smirked, leaning back and observing them. Well, I totally surprised Sunny. I was worried because you weren't home yet, Mommy. I knew you wanted to surprise her, so when Twilight and AC showed up, I knew I had to do something. Luckily, they came in through the bar first, and I was taking Sunny's place while she took a break, Sonata explained to Miss Adagio's touches, so they come in and I told Twilight to wait, then I come upstairs and make Sunny believe I want to have blindfold sexy time. Once she put it on, I gave Twilight the signal, and she came in all quiet and discreet. Adagio grinned widely. And so she thought it was you, when it was really Twilight? She asked as she gently tickled Sonata between the legs. Uh-huh. Sonata nodded, giggling and moaning happily. Sunny had no idea, even though Twilight and I had different bodies. Adagio laughed as she circled her fingers around Sonata's nub. Oh boy, so eventually she had to take the blindfold off. What happened? Let me guess, she was totally shot and rendered speechless? Sonata moaned cutely and nodded. She was. You should have seen the look on her face. Then Sunny was munching on Twilight's bash. She was being all cute and blushy. Twilight was even saying that it's a lot like how she acted when she was younger. It was cute. Oh my god, that's just precious, Adagio giggled as she rubbed a little faster. Twilight returned the favor, right? Oh yes, it was glorious. Sunny was practically in heaven, Sonata murmured, giggling. Adagio giggled, nuzzling the back of Sonata's head. Ah, and I can't believe I missed it. Don't worry, AC was here the whole time and she was getting it on her phone, Sonata winked. Oh good, that little muffin better give me a copy, Adagio smirked as she rubbed harder. And what about you, did you play with AC? I sat and snuggled with her for a bit, Sonata giggled. Oh, but I am so playing with her a bit later. It's a good thing AC likes to be treated like a toy, Adagio giggled, rubbing Sonata harder. Do you want me to finish you, or do you want to wait for AC to come back? Finish me, they'll be there in a while, Sonata winked. Adagio kissed her cheek and slid 2 fingers into Sonata's sex, rocking her in her lap as she went right for her sweet spot. Arya watched with interest, even reaching her hand down her pants and rubbing while doing so. Sonata leaned against Adagio and moaned pleasurably, trembling. Oh, Mommy, Sonata cooed as she came moments later, letting out a soft squeal. Ah, just what I needed. There we are, Adagio purred as she nuzzled Sonata's cheek. Feel better, sweetheart? Sonata kissed her cheek. You're the best, Mommy. Adagio purred and kissed Sonata's cheek. Mama loves you too, Sona baby. So, not only is she promoting incest because, remember, Adagio and Sonata are mother and daughter, but she's actively writing about child pornography because they are very much children. You want to get on your high horse and call out people like Sky Pegasus Readings and Moanaverse and people that read clock fics in general. You want to call out people that draw clock pictures. You want to call out people that write clock fics. You want to call out pedophilia in general. But you've written shit like this? Are you kidding me? Again, I want to make it abundantly clear that I am not saying Lily is a pedophile. I don't believe that she is one. But this is very suspicious, honestly, and I thoroughly believe that this should be looked into because this is a pattern of worrying behavior. I don't understand what would possess someone to write about incest and child pornography once, let alone write dozens of chapters about it across 5 installments of a fanfiction series. That's weird, creepy, and that's something that should be looked into because this is very, very, very questionable. And if you're wondering why Lily is under the cloud of suspicions of potentially being a pedophile, shit like this is exactly why. I could go on for hours about how disgusting this is, but I think you guys get the point, so let's just wrap this up before I shoot something. Since I already scored Lily in the previous video, it would be kind of redundant to do it here as well. I firmly believe that Lily Peet is by far the worst person I've covered on this show. She has made the world, the internet, and the brony analysis community a miserable place, and I firmly believe that she is contributing to the dumbing down of humanity. For Ephraim and everybody else that thinks that I only made this video because I'm jealous of her, I can assure you that I'm not. If being famous requires you to do the kind of shit that Lily does, then it's something that I want absolutely no part of. I would genuinely hate to be the kind of person Lily is. I would hate screwing over my former friends. I would hate writing about incest and child pornography. I would hate beating up my siblings. And really, most importantly, I would hate making up false accusations and smearing people's names just because I don't like them. I would not want to be that kind of person under any stretch of the imagination. I don't understand how anybody can live their life in the way that Lily has done. But you know what? It's her loss. All she has done is burned bridges with the brony analysis community, and she has made herself a martyr. She has made herself into the least reputable person imaginable. If you're wondering why people hate her, if you're wondering why nobody wants to associate with her, everything that I've shown in this video should be a clear indication of that. For those of you who are watching this video, what would you score Lily? Remember, the 3 scores on the examometer are weak sauce, not worth your time, and kill it with fire. So let me know your rating and leave it in the comments down below. That's all I gotta say. This is ThatKidDouglas, aka the Unhero, signing out. Deuces, stay frosty and keep it weird. Cue an outro sequence now.